This is our son, Sebastian. In 2021, he took half a pill he didn't know was counterfeit.
That tiny pill contained enough fentanyl to kill him almost instantly. Kids buy them on social media and share them with their friends, not realizing how dangerous they are.
Please talk to your kids about not taking anything that's not directly prescribed to them.
Our child will never get to grow up, but we want yours to be able to.
In Iowa, we all play by the same rules. Hard work pays off, practice makes perfect, success is something you earn, and teamwork helps us all be winners. The Iowa Pork Producers Association is proud to support statewide high school athletics. Because on our team and on yours, what we bring to the table is what brings us all together. Learn more about our commitment to Iowa at iowapork.org.
When you choose Delta Dental of Iowa, you set a chain of good in motion because we invest in your community. So whether you get your plan at work or purchase it through us, you get more than great dental and vision insurance. You make a difference for others. Choose Delta Dental for your smile, for your health, and for your community.
The Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union State Basketball Tournament is on the air. It is semifinal time. We are down to the final four in every class. Today, a game that could be played between Dallas and Polk counties. It is a Royal Rumble. It's Johnston and Waukee here from Wells Fargo Arena. The Warriors and the Dragons on this Thursday morning. Glad to have you here. It's Leap Day, and it's anything but out of the ordinary. Along with Laura Leonard, I'm Paul Yeager. We're going for a championship. We need some players and teams in that, Laura, today. This is a familiar game for those that follow basketball in the biggest class. I'm talking Roosevelt with the former Rough Rider here. Johnston and Waukee, these two have faced off in the regular season. I call it the Royal Rumble because really they have to battle today. What's key for you for number one Johnston?
You know, I think for Johnston, don't worry about things. Don't put a lot of pressure on yourself, knowing that you're playing to get to that state title game. You lost it a year ago when you got to the championship. You want to get there again, and you want to win it. So you don't want to put a lot of pressure on yourself. Just have to play relaxed.
And I'm not calling Waukee an upstart, but they are after the split between Waukee and then creating Northwest. Sometimes athletically, schools can be a little hard to rebuild. They absolutely just reloaded here at Waukee. They are a game away from that state championship. and it's a pretty easy key for Waukee.
Yeah, it really is, and it took them a little bit of time to rebuild it, but they now have the players in place, and they aren't deep. We were talking about that before we came on. They aren't deep, but those 5 or 6 players that play for Waukee play hard, and they're going to have to play really hard today.
And they are going to have to shoot the ball well. That is the key for Waukee, is shooting from 3. These two teams got here by first wins here in the quarterfinal, their road. So Valley in the quarterfinals was the loss to Johnston, 60-31 to open up that game. Outscored on turnovers, 23-2. So Johnston can create a lot of havoc on a team. Jenica Lewis and Allie Tanky are the two keys. We'll talk about them a lot. Waukee knocked out Centennial in a great ball game here, 46-44. Kristen Hauk was big with 10 points, and Sophia Hope, the transfer, at 9. They combined for 3, 6 remain. We've seen teams have players shoot 12, but threes are key, especially if you can make them at the opportune times, Laura.
Yeah, and that is the key, that you have to pick and choose where you shoot those threes. You can't just settle on them, and you can't shoot them to just be shooting them. Try to get a good balance of balls in the paint, shots in the paint, kicking it back out. You got to have a good balance. So you have to rely on your good three-point shooters, but you also have to have a prominent inside game. We will dive in a little deeper to the seeds for success in just a moment when we come back here from Wells Fargo Arena, Class 5A Semifinal. Thursday is underway. Back in a moment on the Digital Network, powered by Mid-American Energy.
The Iowa Farm Bureau is proud to present this amazing state tournament and celebrate the accomplishments of Iowa's student athletes. To the Iowa Farm Bureau, this is more than just a sport. It's hometown pride, it's hopes and dreams, it's our future leaders, it's a reason to do more and be more. And it's that farm-strong spirit that can only be found in Iowa. Congratulations to the student athletes and coaches on a successful year, and remember, today's successes are just the beginning of tomorrow's achievements.
Here in Greater Des Moines, we're the unexpected sports mecca that feels like home. We are the big ballers, the little kickers, the underdogs, and the bulldogs. We've got events wacky and wild, big and small, we host them all. That old sports cliche, nobody believes in us? Nah, when you come here, you'll believe it. Because in Des Moines, only the S's are silent. Let's go!
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Frank, when you think Fairway, you think fresh. Is that the winning culture you've tried to create?
Penelope Pineapple, what an unbelievable produce performance. How does your team stay so fresh?
Sunkissed Orange. Is it true Fairway has offered the freshest produce in town since 1938?
What can we say? Our produce is so fresh, we're speechless.
Class 5A semifinals getting ready here at Wells Fargo Arena. As we get you ready, let's break it down a little deeper here. And our keys to the game are called the seeds for success, Laura, for the visiting team today, Waukee.
Well, they need to play with pace. I think they have to control it. They can run when they need to run, but slow it down. Again, talking about depth. They don't have a lot of players that they bring off the bench. They have to control that pace. Limit the turnovers. Now, they had 18 turnovers against Centennial in the quarterfinals, able to come out ahead and win that ball game. But against a team like Johnston, they will get after you. You got to protect the basketball. And then for Johnston, you got to have balanced scoring. Everybody's got to get in on the act, and They did that in their 2 regular season meetings. They had 4 players that were in the scoring column in double digits, and that's how they were able to get those 2 wins and then take nothing for granted. Even though Waukee might be small in numbers, they're going to come after. It's a chance to play for the state title.
I think Waukee is probably the story of 5A as the year has flipped to 2024. They have just gotten better every time they've stepped out on the floor. And really, Laura, they're 32 minutes away from playing in Friday night's title game.
You leave nothing on the floor. I know that's an old cliche, but you don't. It's a chance to play for a state title, and you've got to do everything you can to help your team get to that championship game.
Today's Seeds for Success are brought to you by Channel. The enhanced Channel seed brand is here to help farmers like you up your game and rise to the challenge. Learn more at channel.com/rise. Laura, before we go to break and get you to the starting lineups and the introductions, the anthem, all of the pageantry that goes on, we've really kind of neglected some of this Johnston team. This is a team that kind of joking yesterday on press row that the next 5 for Johnston that are on the bench could have qualified for the state tournament. This is a deep squad. Even when you're deep, it doesn't always mean you use your bench. How, if you're Johnston, do you get everybody minutes and shots and things like that, but get to play as a team?
You know, in talking with Chad Gillick, he said they have done over the course of the summer and the off season little activities to help build team chemistry, knowing that you're going to have players out on the floor that are going to play more minutes than you might play. But how can you mesh together as a team, and what's the one common goal of the team? And I think that has worked very well for them this season, is working together with team chemistry.
When we come back, the starting lineups and player introductions. This is the Digital Network on Mid-American Energy.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Today's 2024 Girls State Basketball 5A Semifinal matchup featuring the Waukee Warriors and the Johnston Dragons. The Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union promotes good sportsmanship by participants, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants, officials, and spectators in a positive manner. Profanity, racial, sexist, or abusive comments, or intimidating actions directed at officials, participants, coaches, team representatives, or event personnel will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal. We thank you for your cooperation and invite you to enjoy the game. Fans, it's now time to introduce the players in today's 5A semifinal matchup. First of all, here are your non-starters and assistant coaches for the Waukee Warriors. Number 1, Natalie Sitzman. Number 3, Dylan Peterson. Number 5, Hannah Toll. Number 12, Deja James. Number 15, Taryn Werstein. Number 22, Lydia Smith. Number 23, Jaden Van Pelt. Number 24, Gentry Williams. And your assistant coaches, Jared Printy, Cassie Muir, and Sydney Bertman. Now let's meet the non-starters and assistant coaches for the Johnston Dragons. Number 2, Isabella Balsley. Number 4, Sydney Pullman. Number 12, Cameron Gillick. Number 14, Ari Phillips. Number 20, Dea Phillips. Number 24, Avery Ryan. Number 32, Ruby Pullman. 34, Emma Gray. And number 40, Kaya Hood. Your assistant coaches, Mark Hine, Jenny Cook, Brad Buchan, and Christine Wolford. And now, here's your starting lineups for this 5A semifinal. For Waukee at guard, a 5'8" senior, number 2, Kirsten Hauk. For Johnston at guard, a 5'10" sophomore, number 10, Jenica Lewis. For the Warriors at guard, a 5'9" junior, number 4, Emily Sorensen. For the Dragons at guard, a 5'9" senior, number 22, Aaliyah Riley. For Waukee at guard, a 5'9" senior, number 14, Mara Yokio. For Johnston at guard, a 5'6" sophomore, number 23, Jalea Kinnitz. For the Warriors at forward, a 5'11" senior, number 30, Sophia Hope. For the Dragons at forward, a 5'11" senior, number 30, Eiley Tanky. For Waukee at forward, a 5'10" sophomore, number 44, Marin Sallow. And for Johnston at forward, a 6'1" junior, number 42, Amani Jenkins. Head coach for the Warriors, Danny Franklin Printy, and for the Dragons, Chad Gillick. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you our officials for this 5A semifinal as assigned by the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. Bryant Abel, Tim Osterhaus, Ben Hauge, and your bench official, Dan Deerland. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner set VFW 8142 Color Guard has been presenting the colors at the girls basketball tournament for nearly 60 years. The Color Guard has members from the Marines, Army, Navy, and Air Force who have served in Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, and Afghanistan. Fans, at this time, we ask that you please join us, direct your attention to the flag as we honor America our veterans, and those currently serving who protect our freedom with the singing of our national anthem, today performed by Allie Robinson and Maddie Johnston and their director, Jackie Hawkins-Keck. They are from West Delaware High School. Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, Allie and Maddie. Great job. All right, who's ready for state tournament basketball?
We'd like to thank the Iowa Farm Bureau, proud title sponsor, the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union, for their support. The Iowa Farm Bureau has an office all across the state of Iowa and in your county. Thank you, Iowa Farm Bureau, for supporting the IGHSAU and the Iowa Girl. Waukee will be the visiting team on the scoreboard and wear all black, purple numbers trimmed in white. Johnston, cursive font with the word Johnston on the front of their jerseys in white with black trimmed in purple. Number 1 and undefeated, Johnston looking to run the table. Their last loss came on this floor in the championship game last year in 5A, looking to flip the script and play on Friday night, 6 o'clock title game. Let's play semifinal basketball, shall we? Tip is retained by the Dragons. They'll go to the right side on your screen. Riley leads off the Dragons. Lewis, nice move, and has her shot blocked. Waukee out in transition. Here comes Sorensen to the rack, and a bucket.
You know, that's what you like to see. If you're out on the break, you have some numbers instead of trying to take it all the way in and draw the contact. Pull up and shoot that little floater.
And that wasn't a three. That's one of those little twos that helps build your confidence for the three later. Tanky looks inside for Jenkins. They swing it over to the left side. Now driving baseline reverse underneath. High off the glass, no good. Jenkins, the board, and the putback's no good. Second attempt is there.
It looked like Waukee was out. They were going to play man-to-man, and you got to get out and box out, though. If Jenkins is in the middle, you got to put a body on her.
Hope with it. Launches the three. It's short. I think it was blocked by Tanky. Taken up by the Kinnitz for the Dragons. Riley drives down to the right block. Leaves it for three. Here it comes. There it goes. Off left side, Kinnitz, and it's the rebound, Waukee.
That last possession for Waukee, that's forcing a three right there. You got to run the offense if you can. Don't take too many quick shots.
Hauk is short. Riley the board. Threads the needle and will have a foul. Jenica Lewis is harmed in the act of shooting.
Both these teams wanting to get out and run, set the pace, set the tempo, getting the good lead outs, getting numbers, and going hard to the glass.
Emily Sorensen is whistled there, and the first free throw is good for Lewis. Here's a look at that play again, and just caught the end of that contact there. Lewis, the sophomore, super sophomore indeed, hits a pair.
And they're a team you don't want to put on the line. They're very good free throw shooters. You look up and down their starting five, all of them above 70%.
Waukee goes into a half-court offensive set now. Hauk with it on the right wing, guarded by Tanky.
They got Hope down low in a mismatch. Could not get her the basketball. She flashed open, didn't even stop and look. She was just intent on setting the screen.
Riley takes it hard. Jenkins gets the board, and neither one were fouled, but good blocks by Waukee defense. Laura, out of the gate here, impressed by the defense that Waukee is playing, down low especially.
Yeah, and that's where they're going to have to play it.
Because they have to guard the three. Lewis hits the tray. She has all 5 of Johnston's points, who lead 7-2. Hauk kicks it now back out for Hope, and it's taken away by Jenkins. Numbers not there. She waits for Riley.
Just a little too tentative on the offensive end for Waukee.
Step back 3 from Lewis is no good. Loose ball. Kinnitz almost comes up with it and does. That time she's fouled by Hope.
Boy, they've been going in, pounding it in, trying to get to the rim. Been a lot of contact in there. This time it was pretty certain as Hope got her with the body.
Laura, you and I have seen these referees of Tim Osterhaus, Brian Abel, and Ben Haug many times in this league. They are used to this style of play, and I would say right now, letting them play. First free throw is good by Kinnitz.
I think, everybody has to kind of get into the flow of the game and figure out how you're going to call it. What type of game is it going to be? Is it going to be up and down? Are we going to see half-court sets? Are they going to pound it in the paint? So everybody's adjusting through the first few minutes.
Pocket picked by Kinnitz. Here comes Lewis behind the back pass to Tanky. Put that one on the internet. Holy cow!
Boy, what a pass. Knowing it was a 2-on-1 break, and Lewis was able to get a little separation, get the defense to commit to her. A little wraparound pass. Knew that she had Tanky following and filling the lane.
If only I've seen someone do a behind-the-back pass in the state of Iowa recently. Gosh, I wonder who that is. Level up your game at Central College. More than half of Central students participate in intercollegiate athletics because Central allows you to pursue your passions and be more than a spectator. It's the best decision ever. Apply at central.edu. A friend of ours was talking before the game about Caitlin Clark's game last night. I've asked a couple of these athletes, and everybody knows about Caitlin in the state of Iowa. Everybody knows about her across, but I'm amazed at just how much people are embracing her style of play. Salo gets the feed and scores.
Got a nice little slip and got a good, that's what you want to do out of that timeout. Get a good solid set and score.
Riley drives to the left side, gets a beat but misses. Loose ball still rolling around. Sophia Hope collects. Ooh, Hope with the step there.
Yeah, might have gotten away with the travel.
Salo has it taken away.
Yeah, I think there's a few jitters here for Waukee. Got to take care of that basketball. We talked about the 18 turnovers they had against Centennial, but they are turning it over. And yes, there's good defense by Johnston, but they're making some of their own mistakes as well.
Johnston by 7 early on, 4 1/4 left to play in the first. Out of bounds play goes to Jenkins. Now Tanky has the screen set for. Trying to work through to Sorensen on the D. Tanky at the free throw line, coaxes it down.
Yeah, Coach Gillick feels that she might be the best shooter in the state.
Salo drives in, and again, pocket pick. No, she's going to be fouled. There were 3 Dragons collapsing on her right there on the baseline.
You got to protect that dribble. If you're going to put it on the floor, you know that if you're in traffic, you've got to protect it. Can't get it that far out in front of you.
Kinnitz is called for the foul. Gentry Williams, who came in at the last break. 3 coming off the mark. Sorensen collects, gives the Warriors a chance again, and that time Hope doesn't miss.
Yeah, give her a second chance, about the same spot on the floor. She's going to knock that one down. Good job of going to the offensive glass.
Jenkins is blocked by Hope. So Sophia doing it on the offensive and defensive sides.
Yeah, after that timeout, Waukee's kind of settled down a little bit.
Hauk leaves it for Williams. Williams is tied up. Again, Kennett's in there, and she collects it and feeds it for Jenica Lewis. 3, short. And we have a whistle underneath, and that's going to be a foul on Johnston. They're going to whistle Amani Jenkins.
Well, they will get out and run anytime they get a turnover, and if you put the ball on the floor, turn your back, they are going to be right there and pick your pocket.
There was a look at Hope's 3 again. Let's see if the Warriors can find her on this play. Down by 6 now. Sorensen, guarded by Lewis.
Trying to get her posted up. They set a screen and tried to get a little fade off of that.
Hauk drives and scores.
Boy, and that's where Hauk is so good. Off the bounce, quick release, got it up and under Jenkins.
Speaking of quick, Phillips gets up the court, and she's fouled. Gentry Williams whistled for that foul. So now going to the line is Ari Phillips, a freshman. You know you're pretty decent when you're a freshman playing on this Johnston team.
Well, yeah, and you talked a little bit about the bench and the depth that they have. For her to be able to crack that starting lineup as a freshman tells you a lot about her game.
There was a look at Coach Danny Franklin Prenti having a conversation with the officials and just conversing about what she may see. Want them to look. Hauk pulls back 3 and hits it. Big shot.
Boy, that's just a little jab, step in, get that defense to back off just enough to give her some room.
They go back to Jenkins underneath, and it's tipped away both by Sorensen and collected by Hauk.
Great backside help by Sorensen.
Salo, who was open on a cut earlier, but they couldn't find her. Now it's back up to Hauk. Under 2 minutes to play, first quarter. Waukee within 1, can take the lead on this basket. Falls short. Rebound out to Tanky.
Boy, that's a tough matchup. Put it on the floor. Hauk is good off the dribble, but you're going up against Jenkins.
Lewis drives in. On Hope, blocked. Sophia with great defense. Salo, transition 3, no good. Loose ball, Tanky grabs.
And that's their style. They're not afraid to do that, pull up and shoot the 3, and neither is Johnston.
Oh, what a move in the paint
that was
by
really
Phillips.
Nice.
She'll get it again on the rebound. Lewis, 3, corner, short. Weak side rebound grabbed by Sorensen.
Boy, great ball movement by the Dragons, just couldn't cash in.
Back door wide open. Shot missed by Sorensen. Putback no good either. And Johnston dodges that one. Tanky. Pull up. No good. She knew it from the moment. Chased down the loose rebound. Fights through and scores.
Yeah, you're right. She followed that all the way in. She didn't get her feet quite set on the first jumper. Knew it, followed it in, got the rebound.
What is it about shooters know as soon as it leaves if it's in or out?
It's like anything you do in sports. If it feels good coming off your hand, you know it's in. But you should always, always follow your shot, whether it feels good or not.
Yes, Coach. Final 15 seconds of this quarter. Johnston has a 3-point lead as Waukee has come back from a 7-point deficit. Riley backs down, gets around her defender and gets it to fall. Aaliyah Riley as time runs out. 3 launched at the horn, won't go, and we've played 1. 5-point lead for Johnston. This is the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Unit Digital Network, powered by Mid-American Energy.
Here in Greater Des Moines, we're the unexpected sports mecca that feels like home. We are the big ballers, the little kickers, the underdogs, and the bulldogs. We've got events wacky and wild, big and small, we host them all. That old sports cliche, nobody believes in us? Nah, when you come here, you'll believe it. Because in Des Moines, only the S's are silent. Let's go!
Level up your game at Central College. More than half of Central students participate in intercollegiate athletics because Central allows you to pursue the passions of yours and be more than a spectator. It's the best decision ever. Apply at central.edu. We're playing Emoji Cam in the arena, and you can see in the background right underneath you are the pink shirts of the Johnston fans. It is a pink out game for Johnston today. It is in honor of their Spanish teacher at the high school, Carrie Gray. She went through her second round of surgery yesterday for breast cancer, and so there's pink ribbons and shoelaces and a lot of shirts, all for Mrs. Gray. We wish her the best in recovery.
Absolutely. A lot of support being shown here today.
Nice move to the hole and score for, you guessed it, Jenica Lewis.
She's had a little trouble shooting it from the outside, so what do you do when you're a good shooter? You put it on the floor, get it to the rim, and see it go through the hoop.
Driving in is Smith, and she converts.
Both teams now attacking, kind of going away from the perimeter game.
And a drive and layup, but not easy by Kinnitz.
No, what a move, and that shows you that there's a good reason she's on the floor as a freshman.
Johnston back to a lead of 7. Their biggest was 9 in the first quarter. 3 from way out and just short is Sorensen. Rebound, Salo, another chance, no good. And Kinnitz grabs the ball.
Getting some good looks from beyond the arc.
Lewis for 2.
And 3 times down the floor for the Dragons, putting it on the floor, taking it to the paint, and making some difficult shots.
Lewis, the sophomore, had a lot of observers on press row on Monday for her, and she has all year. The drive to the basket is fouled. And boy, slow to get up. That is Gentry Williams. She got bumped right there in the air. Coach Chad Gillick, no stranger to high recruits at his programs over the years.
And I'm sure that's all changed over the last several years as well as the recruiting process.
I asked Allie Tanky, could you name, and she was a very well astute of Johnston basketball history. I said, do you think you could name an all-5 Johnston Dragon team? We had a couple of names because I asked her if she's on it.
Oh.
And it's possible she might be for now. 3 is off the mark by Lewis, who's going to make a claim to get on that all-5 Johnston team. Hope's 3. Backspin looked really good. Tanky grabs the rebound.
Boy, and that's where she likes to receive the basketball. Great move and backline defense. Hope right there kind of waving in and out of the paint, getting in there and being that protector.
Substitution here coming into the game, and they're brought to you by IMT Insurance. Learn how you can be worry-free with IMT at imtins.com. Jenkins, now Riley. Under 6 minutes to play before half. Johnston leads by 8. Cross-court pass to Tanky. Her shot short. She followed it, and getting there first was Sorensen and ripping it away. 3 from Smith is short. Tanky tips, and grabbing it is Kinnitz.
A quick shot, so nobody was on the boards for Waukee.
Lewis caught that in motion. Now Riley Looks in, trying to get it. Quite the battle underneath. 3 ball good by Kinnitz.
Yeah, everybody's kind of focusing in down low, seeing that battle happening between Jenkins and Hope, and they just kick it outside.
Oh, they were going for that cut. Smith had cut to the basket as opposed to staying back, and that's a turnover.
Houck just couldn't get the good angle to get her going to the basket. That would have been an easy 2.
So Jenkins will inbound here on another substitution. Back in for Waukee is Marin Salo. Lewis has the screen set. Tanky baseline poked away. Give credit there to Sorensen for making that happen.
Even if you get beat on the baseline, you can sometimes sneak in behind and poke that ball away.
Well, there's one way to neutralize Lewis. Get her to commit a foul. It's only her first, though.
I think she's pretty smart out there on the floor, understands the game and the flow, and knowing that they need her abilities out on the floor. Doesn't take too many chances.
Houck, guarded by Riley. Houck needs some help. Sorensen here, misses. Lewis is in position, gets the board, and leaves it in front for Kinnitz. Tanky right wing 3, short, and grabbed by Yokeel. Salo's 3 is good.
They just don't wait. If they have an opening, they're going to let it fly from 3-point.
Riley's drive is knocked away. It'll stay with Johnston. Waukee shooting 21% from 3, 32 from the field, and actually Johnston shooting 34% from the field. Both these teams are very even in their shooting percentages right now, Laura.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they're, just kind of looking at the flow of this game. Great inbound pass.
And Riley, like she always has done in her career, finds a way to get that thing in.
I think that the tempo and the pace of this game was so high and so intense to start. A couple of the players are dragging just a little bit here in the second quarter.
Hope turnaround, nice shot. 5 for the senior who's headed to Truman State. Tanky. Kinnitz 3, no good. Tanky the board, the putback no good. And again, Houck is in there for the rebound. I think everybody for Waukee seems to crash the boards, right?
Oh, I think so. And on the defensive side of things, they are going to the glass. But the one thing, Tanky, she went from the weak side as well, crashing.
Nice give and go. Hope misses. Tanky tried to get the rebound, but it was poked right to Phillips, who in transition misses. Jenkins fouls Salo.
And that's a foul that as a coach you kind of go, oh, let them have that rebound. Don't pick up a foul there.
And I think that's what Coach Gillick just told Jenkins as she went out. Baseball pass to a wide open Sorensen. Dribbles down into the baseline. Left fadeaway, good.
Boy, tough shot, but she's practiced that move a lot as she dips into the middle of the lane, comes back over that shoulder.
Riley tries to create on a Waukee defense that hadn't gotten back but misses. Now Salo in the corner. Loose ball, kind of an errant pass up ahead. Here comes a layup from Kinnitz, and she converts. 9 points for Jalea, the sophomore, and a timeout Johnston on this as they open up an 8-point lead here at the 2:21 mark, Laura. Johnston will play any style of basketball that is in front of them. I mean, teams have tried various things. Coach Franklin Printy told me after the semifinal or quarterfinal game, we had a pretty good game plan the first two times they've played. So, Laura, do you do the same game plan even though you lost the first 2? Do you alter it? You come up with something new?
I think you got to throw in a few new wrinkles. The score of those 2 games, 72-54, 72-59. So feel like you have a good game plan, but you have to tweak those things a little bit to figure out how can you get a little closer, how can you get over the hump. And I did not have a chance to see either of those ball games, but pretty balanced scoring for Johnston in both of those ball games, so you got to try to limit.
And Johnston had really good fourth quarters in both of those. In fact, Johnston's had some pretty good fourth quarters this year. They've been down several times in the fourth quarter, but have won every one of them. And right now, they're off to a good start in this half. And out of the timeout, a held ball on the Waukee side, but it'll go back to Johnston.
Trying to overload a side and then get a backdoor cut. And again, the Dragon defense moving, active hands, shutting down the lanes, not allowing things to happen for Waukee.
Phillips, that time she gets the drive to fall. The freshman into the scorebook for the first time. Pass to Sorensen. The reverse layup is good.
A good job of just maintaining control of that basketball going to the reverse side.
Sorensen headed to Northern Illinois, so at least one player has a commitment. Tanky, the future Cyclone for Johnston. She collects and scores. In this big class, Laura, we see a lot of talent that you'll see playing in major college basketball, and you see some other players sprinkled throughout the tournament. We've talked for years about the quality of the quality of play in this state, and this year seems no different.
No, I think there's a number of good players at all levels, really. I mean, you look up and down all classes, and you can pick out some players that you go, yeah, I'd take a chance on them on my team.
Hope, fadeaway, left elbow, no good. Allie Tanky chases it down. Three coming from Lewis is good.
And how about that look? That's a diagonal pass across the court. That's a long pass to have to make, but hits her in stride.
Hope for threes, no good. Skying forward is Phillips. And now Coach Gillick says, I want one with 20 seconds to go and a 13-point lead. Tanky with it, clock at 5. Riley in the paint, turnaround from the right block, good. Again, how does Aaliyah Riley do it? There is always, I have thought that since she was a freshman playing, there is something about the spin of the ball when she puts it up like that that is, I don't know how you teach it, coach it, it's just impressive.
It's something that you learn as you play, and you're playing, she probably played against a lot of guys, people that are taller than she is, and she has to find a way to get around some of those taller arms that are outstretched, and has created something for herself, and it just works.
That's a steal for assistant coach Chris Guess at Northwest Missouri State.
Huge get for them. I mean, she's going to be a big-time player for them.
We'll take a break at halftime. It is all Johnston right now, 39-24. We'll come back in a moment, look at the first half statistics, and get you ready for the rest of the day. This is the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union Digital Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Slade's the place for you!
Something exciting is growing on Iowa farms these days. Innovation. From tractors that seed, weed, and harvest with data-driven precision to drones that scout or plant cover crops to protect soil and water. Even our animals live in smart homes with round-the-clock care. Technology keeps your food safer, water cleaner, and makes us more sustainable. Because what we do here benefits everyone here. Life on the farm makes everyone's life better.
We're back here at Wells Fargo Arena where the unified basketball game between Ankeny Centennial and Theodore Roosevelt High School in Des Moines. Or is it Des Moines Theodore Roosevelt High School?
No, it's Theodore Roosevelt or TRHS.
Okay. Halftime of this game between Johnston and Waukee, Laura. Waukee came out, scored first, but then it just kind of, that end of the first quarter, start of the second quarter, Johnston really put their foot down. How'd they do it?
You know, I think initially they got a good balance inside-outside scoring. We saw them score from the outside. Then they came back out in the second quarter, 3 consecutive possessions, put it on the floor, took it to the hoop. Defense is really good. Waukee needs to take better care of the basketball in the second half. They've put it upon themselves, forced their own turnovers, along with Johnston forcing the turnovers as well.
We'll break down the statistics in a moment, but first we'd like to take an opportunity to again thank our title sponsor, the Iowa Farm Bureau, for their support of the state basketball tournament. Earlier this week, the IGHSAU had the opportunity to speak with Iowa Farm Bureau President Brent Johnston to learn more about Iowa Farm Bureau's support of the IGHSAU and the student athletes across the state.
Thanks for joining us for the 2024 Girls State Basketball Tournament. I'm Matt Hominoff with the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. We want to thank all of our partners for all the great support we get from around the state. None more important than our proud title sponsor, Iowa Farm Bureau. With me today is the president of the Iowa Farm Bureau, Brent Johnston. Thanks for joining us, Brent.
Yep.
Why does the Iowa Farm Bureau feel so strongly about supporting the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union and our tournament games?
Well, Matt, the Iowa Farm Bureau has been the title sponsor for the Girls Union now for 19 years. And once again, very proud to be a part of this year's state girls basketball tournament. And, you know, this tournament highlights the work ethic, teamwork, resilience, and dedication that these girls have contributed for a year's worth of dedication to their craft. And just like that same spirit, the Iowa farmers are the best in what they do across this entire country, not only in production, but also in conservation. And you put all that together, and there's a lot here to celebrate.
Yeah. Your support for the IGHSAU goes beyond youth and education. What other support does the Iowa Farm Bureau provide Iowa's youth?
Yeah. Well, Matt, here at Farm Bureau, we believe that today's youth is tomorrow's leaders, and we're proud to support them in many different ways. One of those is by our scholarship program. Every single year, we give nearly $500,000 across the entire state to those kids so that they can continue their education at a higher level. We've also partnered with the Girls Union and the Boys Association now for several years to offer concussion insurance for those student athletes who compete in sanctioned sports across the entire state so that they can do so at a high level and feel safe doing so. And that is at no cost to that student or their families. Third, we've given teachers across the state nearly $500,000 so that they can properly equip their classrooms to do their jobs better. And most recently, just last year, the Iowa Farm Bureau gave the Iowa FFA Foundation $1 million so that they can properly place ag teachers and ensure that students across the state have an exposure to agriculture and how it affects their lives every day.
Yeah, so the students participating in this year's tournament are taking home some pretty neat souvenirs. But one new item that they're taking home are the championship ball caps. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Oh, absolutely. You know, the girls who are competing at this year's tournament are actually taking home quite a bit of swag this year. Of course, we have the bag tags and the signature basketballs that the girls have been used to seeing over the years. But this year, we've added a championship ball cap so that those girls who actually win the tournament have an extra souvenir to remember that if they put their minds to it, they can accomplish anything.
Well, thanks again, Brent, for both your and everyone at Iowa Farm Bureau's support of the Iowa Girl over the years.
In Iowa, we grow corn. A lot of corn. Corn is what supports us. It feeds our livestock, it fuels our vehicles, and powers our state. It nourishes our families. A cash crop? Yeah, but it's way more than that. Corn sustains us. It's who we are. Without it, we'd just be... well, you get the picture. In Iowa, we grow corn. But the truth is, corn grows Iowa.
The thing I love about Clark is that you're never just one thing. I'm not just a student. I'm a future doctor. I'm an athlete on a history-making team. I'm a community member supporting the causes I care about. I'm a friend, a neighbor, a leader. At Clark, you can become anything. What will you be? Be you at CU.
Official state tournament merchandise is now available online. Time to get your smartphones out. Scan the QR code on your screen or visit IGHSAU.org. Browse and customize your merchandise to match your style. Laura, I am holding merchandise you cannot buy in the store. You can only buy if you're the champion. It's like those pink shirts that are given out to the champions.
Those are priceless.
Now they're adding the hats to it this year. So we're going to see the championship hats, and you can affix the not the ribbon, but the netting if you win.
Yes.
To the back. That's the perfect fit. So
perfect addition to the champions' attire.
This is props. We are not given those.
We should be.
We should be, but we're not. Halftime here of this 5A semifinal. The winner is 16 minutes away from playing in the telegame. Right now it's Johnston. Laura, what can Johnston do to make sure they're in the championship game Friday night?
You know, continue doing what they're doing. They have only turned the ball over one time, and they're taking good shots. They've gotten off 12 more shots than Waukee, so they're turning Waukee over, and then they're converting those turnovers into points. And so I think you just kind of keep doing what you're doing, run your offense, continue to be aggressive on defense. And if you're Waukee, you got to figure out ways to maybe get some backdoor cuts, shake that defense a little bit, continue with the three-point game. You're knocking down the threes.
Well, the thing is with shooting percentages, they get really wonky here, but you might have a bad quarter or a bad half, but usually season averages kind of work themselves out as the game goes on. So if you're Waukee and only shooting 20% from three, you're hoping your average can double.
Yeah, and you're going to continue to stay with the game plan that got you to this point, so you're not going to go away from that three-point shot. But I think if you can get that dribble drive, and if you can get Kristen Hauk, put the ball on the floor, kick it out to the shooters, might have some luck there.
They've been attacking inside, but it's just Johnson's defense has just been everywhere.
Yeah, they're good, and they're helping out. They've been picking up man-to-man, but they're dropping off. It's a little bit of a sagging man-to-man. Have hands in the passing lanes. They have knocked a lot of balls away. They have deflected a lot of passes and then being able to pick pockets as well and turn those into points.
12 points for Jenica Lewis, leads all scorers in this contest. Laura Leonard and BJ Shaban will have the call of the 5A championship on Iowa PBS tomorrow night. Pregame show begins at 5:30. When we come back, half number 2 to find out who plays in that title game here on the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union Digital Network, powered by Mid-American Energy.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
The Iowa Farm Bureau is proud to present this amazing state tournament and celebrate the accomplishments of Iowa's student athletes. To the Iowa Farm Bureau, this is more than just a sport. It's hometown pride, it's hopes and dreams, it's our future leaders, it's a reason to do more and be more. And it's that farm-strong spirit that can only be found in Iowa. Congratulations to the student athletes and coaches on a successful year, and remember, today's successes are just the beginning of tomorrow's achievements.
Welcome back to the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union Digital Network, powered by Mid-American Energy. I get caught singing Rick Astley. My apologies. They're never going to give you up. Waukee's not going to give up. They've got Key on the back, and we kind of talked about their keys in the game to start things, Laura. They needed to have good defense to offense, and they had a good game plan the first two games. They got to shoot the three better. That's one of those keys that have to improve.
Yeah, you've got, I mean, that's a big part of your game as, they believe they have taken the most three-pointers in 5A, and so that's what they do. That's their style of play. So have to knock a couple down early on, get that confidence level back up.
There's the three we just saw from Hauk, and then Eiley Tankey. A stat sheet tells you one thing, Laura, but the eye test and the basketball junkies can see other things. To me, Eiley Tankey is always that not necessarily. I mean, she's great at scoring points and getting rebounds, but she's clearly one of those not stat players. I mean, she does more than stats.
She does, and sometimes she goes unnoticed out on the floor because you've got so many other parts on this Johnston team. She'll get her points. We saw her crash the offensive boards a couple of times, play good defense. She will just do the little things, but she will also get the job done in the scoring column.
Other point totals, Eiley Tankey does have 8, 9 for Kinnitz, 6 for Riley, and then 2 each for Jenkins and Phillips for Waukee. They're led by Emily Sorensen, 6, 5 from Hauk, Hope, and Salo as we begin quarter number 3 and half number 2. 16 minutes to a championship game. Johnston by 15, and the 3 can really change things. Out of the break, they drive, and again, there were 4 Johnston jerseys there on that play.
Knowing they were going to get the ball to start the quarter, had a set play in mind, just couldn't get it to work, and then you come out and you have Johnston knock down a big 3 and Tankey.
Well, that is something you keep track of, points, and Eiley was open there on that right elbow.
Well, both these teams knew what they wanted to do on their opening possession, and Johnston ran it to perfection.
Hope's 3 is long, and Jenkins leaves her feet to get the ball. Now Jenkins in transition. Waits for Tankey to get open, and Eiley Tankey has scored 6 points to start this half.
And with a defender in her face, too. So they popped her out, gotten her the ball twice now down the floor.
She's the leader in scoring and rebounds. And almost an over the back there, but Hauk chases it down. Hauk's blocked. No, they're going to say that Lewis fouled her.
That will be...
Oh, Jenkins.
Oh, it was on Jenkins. Wow. Both of them were right there.
Yeah, I was looking at Lewis. And Lewis was thought she'd committed the foul. At the line is Hauk. She's going to go play at William Jewell College. She had 10 in the quarterfinal against Centennial into the ball game. For the Dragons is Avery Ryan, and this is a IMT-INS substitution. Be worry-free with IMT at IMTINS.com. Second free throw by Hauk is good. 20-point lead, just like that. Tankey gets it to fall.
Boy, and a good job, a little interference by Avery Ryan, just backing up, keeping the defense at bay that allowed Tankey to get in a little closer.
We're going to have a foul.
Now that one, I believe, is on Lewis.
That is on Lewis there. There's no denying that one. Coach Chad Gillick, you see there in his 20th season. 12th as head of the Dragons. 3 is long by Hauk, and Riley grabs it. And Riley almost travels, but the long legs keep her pivot foot on the ground. Ryan sets the screen for Riley. Avery. Tanky trying to create. Good backside defense, and it is stolen away by Waukee. Salo had it, but she's not the one that caused the turnover. Now the drive, the kick, and out of bounds. Yokeel's foot was right on that line.
Boy, Hauk avoiding the charge as she drove the baseline and got rid of it just in time, but maybe a little bit too much heat behind that pass.
We have a carry. So Johnston will turn it over at 5:33. Johnston by 22. Right there on the bottom of the screen, if you freeze it really, really fast, you see one of Laura's friends who you had to go greet. Stepping in front of the pass is Jenica Lewis, and she is hit hard and hits the ground hard. Hauk is going to be called for the foul, and Lewis is slow to get up.
She'll take her time getting up. Pretty good collision on the layup.
And Waukee takes a timeout. There's a look at that hard collision. We'll step away here on the digital network powered by Mid-American Energy.
Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Waukee fans, there's the Johnston fans and their pink out for Mrs. Gray and her recovery. And that is a J backpack. That's nice. I like that. Laura, trying to set up, talking about Jan Jensen here, assistant coach for Iowa, former Drake coach, now at Iowa. The attention that these players get. You know, Jenica Lewis is 35 Division offers. She can pick wherever she wants to go. We've already talked about the quality of play. Sometimes some people just like to come and watch, right?
You know, I think that's a plus of being, especially for somebody like Jan, who's an Iowa girl herself and stayed in the state of Iowa to play at Drake and coach at Drake and then coach at Iowa. I think just the state tournament has a little bit different meaning for her as a college coach than some of the other college coaches that come in. And so, yeah, it's an opportunity to find new recruits and see who can do what, but it's just with a new purpose here in the third quarter.
She must have heard me saying that she's not in the stat sheet very much. Nice underhand layup. Oh, it was missed by Sorensen. Thought that was going to go. Waukee has only scored 1 point in this quarter.
They have not really been able to get in any kind of rhythm offensively, and that is due to the Johnston defense.
Hauk clears it out. Now goes coast to coast and kicks. 3, no good by Yokeel.
Yeah.
And Johnston quickly up ahead.
And a good look for Yokeel, just couldn't get it to fall.
Ryan gets the rebound on the tanky miss. Lewis drives down left side and scores. Jenica Lewis now with 16 points.
Good.
She had 18 against Valley and 17 and 13 against Waukee earlier this season.
Yeah, good spin move and then got some contact on the way in, so a little bit stronger upper body, able to muscle through that.
Did you have to lift weights a lot? Was that part of the program when you played?
We didn't. Not like they do now.
It's crazy what they do, right?
Oh, it really is crazy. We did preseason stuff. We lifted, we ran, we did all kinds of things. But then once season started, the theory back then, so this tells you how long ago I played.
Yeah, let's say long ago, not old.
Yeah, long ago. The theory was, you can't lift weights during the season, it'll throw your shot off. So we just quit lifting weights as soon as the season started, which makes no sense at all now of knowing what we know. There's a shot from Lewis.
Not only could she do the dribble, the step back, and then she was at NBA range.
Yeah, she's just going to continue to get better. There's a bucket that Waukee certainly needed at this point.
Waukee hits the three, and we have a timeout. A lot of substitutions going on at the 2:55 mark on the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union Digital Network, powered by Mid-American Energy.
Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
The Johnston band is in the house. And I think they're playing Sweet Caroline. And that is a song that Allie Tankey is going to hear next year when she is at Iowa State. But I asked Allie earlier this week, I said, hey, what about that recruiting class ahead of you of 5 freshmen, including Audie Crooks that we all know that played here for years? And she was, I am so excited. Those are my great friends. I mean, Allie committed pretty early to Iowa State, but that bonding that goes on between classes is so important for a program. Why?
I think, you're going to be together for 4 years, hopefully, in this day and age, hopefully, for 4 years, that those are going to be your teammates that you're going to travel with, you're going to room with, you're going to be together with all year round. And so you have to be able to get along and gel together, mesh together. And I'm going to tell you, this young group for Iowa State, they have done that. There is a quality recruiting class that Bill Finley got. They pulled the upset last night over K-State on K-State's home floor.
They
beat
K-State twice this year. They took the series.
Yeah, so, it's just a situation where you have to mesh and get along with your teammates, have to love one another, because you're going to spend a lot of time with those people.
You're spending Thanksgiving, Christmas, hopefully St. Patrick's Day together. Yeah. Playing in the March tournament. Under 2 to play here in the third quarter. Johnston in control, but Hauk and the Warriors trying to find their shot.
Want to make sure they get it right with this possession, taking a little extra time.
3 coming and hitting is Lydia Smith.
And that's exactly what they did. They were patient, worked the ball around, a little dribble penetration, and a kick out to Smith.
There is a theory on Johnston is to play a very long, milk the clock down to 5 seconds every possession and take away the number of possessions. Is that something that you think works against Johnston?
It could, but look how efficient they are when they do it. They slowed it down with that possession, but in the first half, they got 12 more shots than Waukee did. So if you take a few of those away, is it a different ball game? Probably not, because they are so good at scoring the basketball, but it might have been a little bit closer at halftime.
Williams-Dries has it knocked away, tried to make a case that she was fouled. No dice, and it'll be out of bounds with 20 seconds on the shot clock and 52 and a half left here in the third quarter. Loose ball, and that's going to, Johnston's going to need some help in defense, but they can't quite come up with the loose ball. 3 coming, and no good as the shot clock was winding down. Had to get Waukee just had to kind of hope some things helped, or that was Williams that took that shot. Phillips holds it, and she's going to be called for a 5-second call. Coach Jillick has a coaching opportunity.
Yeah, knowing that there's just about a 3-second difference between shot clock and game clock. Got to make a move to the basket, and otherwise the official count that 5-second count.
Won't be the last time Phillips will be winding out a quarter wearing the Johnston uniform, so she'll pick that skill up. Sorensen has it knocked away. Finally, Balsley comes up with it. 3 seconds, 2. Balsley is going to be able to. Jenkins, pass it off to Jenkins. I thought Balsley was going to take it. The bucket counts. It's 30 points now as the Johnston lead as we go to the fourth quarter here on the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union Digital Network, powered by Mid-American Energy.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Frank, when you think Fairway, you think fresh. Is that the winning culture you've tried to create?
Penelope Pineapple, what an unbelievable produce performance. How does your team stay so fresh?
Sun-kissed orange. Is it true Fairway has offered the freshest produce in town since 1938?
What can we say? Our produce is so fresh, we're speechless.
Johnson hits a bucket at the end of the quarter, and a reminder, the Iowa Bankers Association is the proud sponsor of the Parade of Champions and the Iowa Student Achievement Award. They hit that bucket and make it a 30-point lead as we head to quarter number 4 here at the state tournament. 2024 Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union basketball extravaganza here at Wells Fargo Arena. Is extravaganza too much, or do you think it is accurate?
I think it's accurate. You know, it was what goes on here at the state basketball tournament, state softball tournament, the way that the girls' union takes care of their athletes in all sports. I was talking to New Drake softball coach Lindsay Dial, who's been in the state of Iowa forever, and she said she had gone out to Colorado to go recruiting and to their state tournament. And she said, I was looking for the tournament director to go, listen, you need to come to the state of Iowa, see how we do things here, because what you're doing in Colorado doesn't compare to what happens in the state of Iowa for our girl athletes, female athletes.
Riley tried to make a pass among all passes. It was there just a little too fast. Tanky just couldn't get her hands up to get that one. And you're talking the state softball tournament in Colorado? Or are you talking, okay.
Yeah, state softball in Colorado.
And that's part of the pitch that Iowa does to the clubs, players, to say, do you have a big, is there this big pageantry around a club championship? And I think it's a legit argument to be made as the 3-shot from Sorensen is off and out of bounds. It'll go back to Johnston. Is part of that, do you play in front of hundreds and hundreds of fans? Or in basketball, do you play in front of thousands of fans like this? I mean, there's a case to be made for basketball, too.
Oh, I agree. I mean, I think we, and yes, I'm biased because I grew up here and played and understand what the state tournament's all about and what the end goal is and what everybody wants to do when that season starts, when you start practice in November. You want to get down to, in my era, Vets Auditorium, but now Wells Fargo. And it just is the way that Mr. Cooley and then everybody since him have enhanced this experience for the athletes is just something special.
Mike Dick was here earlier this week, past director. Jean Berger announced just right before the tournament this will be her last tournament as executive director, and the search is on. And you can guess anybody that's going to get the job is going to have to talk about keeping up this basketball and volleyball and now wrestling state events that they put on here in Iowa.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things, a lot of sports that are offered to the young ladies here in the state of Iowa, and wrestling has grown leaps and bounds, and I think it's great that we have that sport.
Again, the three, but this time I think it might have been tipped by Tanky's shot, or the way she's reacting, maybe she did just not shoot it well enough.
I think somebody got a piece of that. The Eiley Tanky I know doesn't shoot a shot like that.
And you've seen her a lot.
I've seen her a lot since she's got on into the starting lineup for Johnston.
You know, Johnston is just a regular here at the tournament. They have, you know, they're the only unbeaten team. They're ranked nationally. Coach Jillick is in his 10th state tournament here in his 12 years at Johnston. And again, last year, Pleasant Valley, they were not intimidated by the Johnston Dragons last year, and they won that title game. And Jenkins somehow gets it out for the three to Kinnitz, and that shot falls, and then all of a sudden hitting the deck hard is Riley, and I'm not sure she's wanting to be pulled up yet. She needs a moment.
She was just in the middle, that white jersey and amongst all the black jerseys. She was down there scrapping for it, got bumped hard to the ground.
Jenkins gets the inbound pass and goes over the defense and scores. Jenkins now with 6. She was a big presence early on in this contest, but they haven't needed her down low in much of the third and fourth quarter.
You know, that's the thing with this Johnston team is you might not necessarily always need Jenkins in the middle, or you might not need Lewis on the outside. It's whatever the personnel on the floor, whatever the defense shows you, you have to take advantage of that. And whoever has the hot hand, go with it. And in this case, second half, hot hand has been Eiley Tanky.
We're going to have a host of substitutions here in a minute. All right, I want to dive in a little bit to Eiley Tanky. Let's just say there's no Riley or Lewis that could run the point. Most teams would put an Eiley Tanky as their point guard. She could easily be a point, right, for this team?
I think so. I mean, knowing that you don't have any other options if you took those two away, yeah, I think she could handle the point, and it might be a different looking team for Johnston, but she certainly has ball handling skills, and I think she could be that point person to get them in motion. But do you want to take her out of the offense as the point person? She's not going to get as many shots and as many looks if she's the point person and the distributor of the basketball instead of the receiver of the basketball.
Phillips steals, Phillips scores, Phillips is fouled. She'll go to the line. One of the twins, Ari, will go to the line for an extra. And I'm not saying that, you know, there's anything wrong with Johnston's point guards. I'm just, you know, the versatility to me of Tanky's game would allow her to do a lot of things, which, again, I think is why she is going to be into that mix next year in Ames for some serious playing time as Dea Phillips gets the board, the other twin.
Yeah, I think, you know, she's going to be a nice addition to that Iowa State team, and it's just going to complement what's already out there on the floor. And it's a very young team for the Cyclones.
Cameron Jellick checks in on an IMTINS.com substitution. Inbounds pass is taken away by Dea Phillips. And the Dragons are on the move here at the 4:15 mark. Balsley, who's also played a lot of minutes for Johnston in her career, and a good athlete in her own right. She's going to go to Drake and play soccer. Do we just call them the Dogs, or do we have to call them Bulldogs? 3-point is on the way from Phillips. And
I know. We've had a discussion about the nickname of Roosevelt. I think we can go with the Dogs of Drake.
Yeah,
the Bulldogs.
The Bulldogs. But she'll be playing in a new soccer stadium.
Yeah, a really nice soccer stadium over there next to the Knapp Center.
Hope's three doesn't fall, but grabbing it is Haupt. Now she waits back for the team to come for help. Hope drives on Ryan, and the ball just kind of comes out.
Oh, nice handles.
Ryan I was really hoping to see a nice little hook shot there from Ryan, but it goes out of bounds. The Avery Ryan, the senior who's headed to Grandview. And coach says of all the players, she's the one that hates to lose the most. And there's some competitive folks on this team.
Yeah, but you can see her demeanor when she comes on the floor. She really wants to win, and she's working hard, doing all the things she needs to do to help her team win.
That was some good communication there between Phillips and Balsley. Now, soccer players, Laura, they have been an integral part of many of these teams, and some of these players that you see having success and maybe doing just that little extra thing, look at what else they do, and it's play soccer.
Yeah, those soccer players are always good defenders because they know how to move their feet, they know how to get into position, slow down a ball handler, and that's why they're a crucial part of any team. If you're going to be a multi-sport athlete, good combo is soccer and basketball.
Full-on substitutions now for both teams. We're getting everybody in. Natalie Sitzman. I think I saw Dylan Peterson come in for Waukee, as well as Deja James. Hannah Thole. Or Hannah, if I could pronounce it correctly. Sorry, there's the shot, and that's going to be a foul on Johnston's Sydney Pullman. Speaking of Drake.
I know I'm looking over to see if Coach Pullman, they have a game tonight, so I'm not sure she's here in attendance to watch two of her triplets on this Johnston team.
And if she's watching, hello, Coach. Good luck tonight. They've been a fun team to watch this year, too, haven't they?
Boy, I'll tell you what, they have been really fun to watch, and they get up and down the floor and score a lot of points, play really good defense, and they have another Iowa girl at the point guard, Katie Dennebeer, who's having a phenomenal season.
Well, let's not forget her teammate, Grace Berg, is hanging right there, another Iowa girl who's played here. 3 on the way from Pullman is good. Sydney for 3.
Well, if Allison's watching, that was a huge shot. So I hope you're happy, Allison. I know she is. What a great shot. It's all that good coaching.
That's right. And look, she's still smiling.
She got so excited when she knocked it down.
Little strong drive there by James. Rebound comes out for Johnston. That was Hood who grabbed that one. And now it's Emma Gray inside to Hood. The turnaround no good. Rebound comes out to Ruby Pullman. Here's the other 3. Oh, that one almost went for Jillick. They're going to let her shoot again. That one is short. Rebound Waukee in the running clock here. We're under 20 seconds.
Smiles all the way around for Johnston.
Sitzman. Now Peterson. Sitzman's being encouraged by the students to shoot it. See what Van Pelt does. Here's the 3. A little strong for James, and that's how it's going to end. Johnston is back in the title game with a 74-33 dominating win here in the semifinals.
You know, it really was, and it was a second half that was dominating for Johnston. Made a few little adjustments at halftime and really took control of this ball game at the start of the third quarter.
Johnston scores 35 points in the second half. Waukee scores 9. Waukee only gets 2 points in that fourth quarter. Now, granted, the last 4.5 minutes were continuous clock, but that 7 points in the third quarter was key, Laura.
It really was. I mean, they just came out as far as what they were going to do offensively. They weren't going to let their foot off the gas. they were able to get Eiley Tanky on fire, and she knocked down, I think it was 3 straight shots to start that third quarter.
Basketball provided by the Iowa Farm Bureau, proud title sponsor of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. Presenting awards from the IGHSAU, our Executive Director Gene Berger and Basketball Administrator Gary Ross. Congratulations, Head Coach Danny Franklin Printy and the Warriors of Waukee on an outstanding basketball season. And now, Avery Ryan will advance her team to the next round on the official bracket at center court. Johnston fans are
the title game tomorrow night on Iowa PBS.